Welcome to the Heroes Chained Live AMA, and I'm your host Jazz Gill. And today we have a very special guest, Mevlut Dinc, the executive producer and co-founder of Heroes Chained. Mev is a heavyweight in the gaming industry, many decades of experience in this world. He's taken some amazing games, some amazing traditional games to the market. Even as a kid, I used to play some of these. And now he's moved into a new spectrum of the crypto space and developing games in that arena. You could consider him the Mike Tyson of the gaming industry. Welcome, Mev. It's great to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you here, and welcome to the live AMA.
Thank you, Jazz, and thank you for the wonderful introduction.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. It would even been a longer intro, but you've got so many amazing things that you've done throughout your life. And there's not many opportunities you get to speak to someone and interview them that has been in the industry for so long and has seen the evolution of the gaming industry from traditional games to the new modern wave of gaming within the blockchain and the crypto space. So it's going to be a very interesting AMA, I think, not just for myself, who's an avid fan of yourself, but also for the community as a whole to really understand about this area that you're working in now and also your background as well. So why don't we start off with, your background, who you are and, what you've been doing and what you're currently working on as well currently.
Okay. Again, thank you so much for the warm welcome and wonderful introduction. My name is Mevlut Dinc, as you say. That's how I am known internationally, but also known as Mevlut Dinc in my own country, Turkey. And I have a long and fascinating gaming journey, actually, as you indicated, which spans over 38 years, I can't believe it, and
Wow.
over 2 countries, first the UK and Turkey. My journey started way back in 1983. I still can't believe how long it's been. And I did some great games in the UK until the end of 2000. And then I decided to return to my native Turkey to kickstart the professional gaming sector. So in effect, I have witnessed the entire development of the gaming sector. So I'm really proud to say that there aren't many people in the world who can say it. Currently, I'm working with a wonderful team of people at Invention Games, which I co-founded with my good friends Erhan, Ersin, and Salih, and the rest of the team. And our first game is Heroes Chained, our first blockchain-based game.
That's great. So, I remember in the 80s, still being at school, playing a lot of these traditional games, right? And most of them, I think you probably created a lot of them as well, that I was playing. And it's just fascinating that was a period of time in the 80s where a lot of these games actually took off, right? The traditional games. And were very, very popular on a lot of these PCs and in those days as well. So obviously you've been involved in a lot of the traditional gaming as well. So one of the questions was, what sort of made you sort of switch from, that sort of traditional gaming that you were probably doing in the sort of 80s and 90s, and then sort of, move into the blockchains gaming area. And did you see this coming as well when in the last number of years? Well, obviously, you've seen the evolution of the gaming in the 80s and into the 90s and into the 2000s as well.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit of background before I answer your question fully. Like I said, 38 years since 1983, and as you say, I was involved in some classic games in the 80s and 90s, and I saw the change from 8-bit to 16-bit to 32-bit, and then to all the way to super consoles, PlayStation, Xbox, what have you. And then these changes were quite amazing in itself, you know. But I also knew that new things were happening. But before then, obviously, we had esports some 10 years ago.
Yep.
And then, along with esports, the mobile gaming made a big impact. All this in the last 10 years. And it's
Mm.
amazing that mobile gaming commands 50% of the market now. So when my good friend Erhan found me out of the blue, because of the lockdown, obviously, we lost contact with many friends. And he wanted to see me, and I was very surprised and also obviously happy to see him after a long time. He just finished my book, Life is a Game, which I wrote 2, 3 years ago, where I share obviously my gaming journey in detail, sharing many insights and anecdotes. Um, and Aaron told me all about the blockchain world, the technology itself, as he and his brother Ersin have been involved in this technology since 2017, you know, very early on. I knew about blockchain, you know, obviously like anyone else, but I wasn't really involved in it as such. So he gave me a wonderful summary of the entire thing, and I was very impressed. And then he said that he decided to go into blockchain-based gaming. He saw that as being the next big thing in blockchain world, and obviously it's a brilliant marriage between blockchain technology and games. And as you know, games have been the main driving force for many new technologies like AR, VR, you name it. So it's not surprising that now blockchain based gaming is becoming such a big thing. And then when he told me all about the blockchain gaming and uh, how it was just beginning and there were some good examples, but in terms of gameplay, maybe they were a little bit lacking. And Erhan, being an avid gamer, he said he wanted to create good games, and I was the main man he wanted to come to and ask me if I would like to join him in his wonderful journey. And without hesitation, I said yes, and that's how the whole thing started, really. And
That's really amazing.
only a few months ago, the funny thing is just that I have been getting so many offers from so many different quarters,
Yes.
uh, but none of the projects really impressed me or excited me because I've seen it and done it all. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? As people
Absolutely.
can read
Absolutely.
in my book, yeah.
Yes.
But it just made me so happy and excited to know that blockchain gaming offered something completely new to the gamer. And I'm a gamer's man. I've always
Hmm.
been on the side of the player, the gamer. You know, I even fought against my team to
Sure.
protect my gamers because, after all, we make games to entertain our gamers. And so when I realized from what Erhan told me that gaming community actually owns the majority stake in the gaming, it really attracted my attention and interest. And that's how we started, really.
That's really a good journey. Now, just stepping back a bit to the earlier days, you know, when you were growing up as a kid or a teenager, were you
Mhm.
obviously a lot of a lot of kids, you know, in their sort of teenage years find a direction or a pursuit in life, and then there's people like myself who go through the teenage years into their 30s, 40s, and they still haven't found a direction. I'm still looking for one. But were you one of those guys that you always had a passion for gaming as a kid and a teenager? Is that what sort of drove you into this industry? Because you from what you've done so far and the achievements you had, not just within the domains of technology and yourself, you keep on evolving in the technology as it steps up into the next layer, but
Mhm.
also you've been a very successful entrepreneur as well, and even doing some amazing stuff and bringing these people together. So was it as a kid, teenager, was it you had a direction towards gaming, and you wanted to follow that career, or how did you fall into this, going into that direction and
Well,
choosing that
obviously,
path?
yeah. Very nice question, actually. And while listening to it, I was like smiling. uh, it, my getting into gaming is like one in a million. That's
Mm,
why people are fascinated when they read my book. They cannot believe the story. It's a complete chance, really. I went to the UK uh, towards the end of 70s, and I settled in the UK in 1979, and without speaking a word of English, in fact.
mhm.
And I married an English girl while I was still a student in Turkey. It's just
Yep.
a crazy story. And then I found myself working in a cable factory in England. And by, again, complete chance, one of the colleagues at work introduced me to ZX Spectrum. In fact, he convinced me to buy one. And I had no interest in either computers or gaming. And I'm not a very good gamer either. I sort of openly admitted in my book I'm a lousy gamer, actually. Luckily, I'm good at making games. Um, so that's how I ended up starting. And I had to learn everything myself from books and magazines. Uh, and I'm self taught. It took me about 2 years. And then I left the factory and I published my first game in 1985.
Wow.
But it was so different. We had to do everything ourselves. There were no game engines. So when we designed the game, we had to write the level editor, graphics editor, animator, music editor, everything.
Mhm.
Things have changed so much. It's unbelievable.
So really, it reminds me of Elon Musk and him building his rockets, right? I mean, a guy who basically self-taught. So you arrived here as like to come here, and then you started reading the books, right? And it was basically self-study, and it's like Elon Musk built the rocket, and you started building the games, right?
You're
And
making me blush,
and
just comparing me to
but
Mike Tyson and Elon
yeah,
Musk.
I mean, it just it's just that certain people have those traits, right? Certain people have those skill sets where you can go and learn a subject, and then you can just learn about it. And I think the true entrepreneurialism shows in an individual when he's actually tries to apply it, and by just putting the nuts and bolts together, and you keep on trying until you get somewhere, and the thing takes off, right? So it's been
Absolutely.
one of those journeys, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Going back then, so then what sort of made you then step back and then basically, sort of 3, 4 decades, right, in the gaming industry in the UK
Mhm.
or globally, then you decided, okay, probably the UK weather is, is quite cold nowadays, right? And I miss Southeast Asia. I'm stuck in the UK as well for the last 2 years since COVID days, right? So I want to
Yeah.
go back
Yeah.
and get some sun as well. So what made you sort of move back home then? The nice weather and the nice
But
food?
well, to be honest, having lived in the UK over 21 years, which is a long
Yeah.
time, it's a lifetime really for a young person. Um, so when I became very popular, or I could even say famous, really, in the
Mhm.
80s and 90s with some of the games that I produced, programmed, or designed, developed, whatever. Um, I have to admit, I always missed Turkey, my friends, my family. Uh, you do miss the country that you grow up in. So I did want to come back, and then I saw it as a great opportunity, personal opportunity for myself. I realized that there wasn't a professional gaming sector in Turkey, and I thought, what could be better for a person to kickstart a sector in,
Mhm.
in, in his native country. So I
Yep.
saw it like an amazing opportunity. And with that excitement, without knowing what was waiting for me in Turkey, I pulled the plunge and came back to Turkey. And I'm glad I did.
So,
I'm
I mean,
effectively the founding
that
father of the Turkish gaming sector.
wow, that's great. So, when it comes back, stepping back into the hero's chain, then
Mhm.
the ecosystem of this game and everything like that. was it something that was in the back of your mind as well? Obviously, you mentioned that you met some of the folks and you had that initial discussion as well, and you thought, it's a great concept. But was it also in the back of your mind as well that, this is going to be something that I'm going to be involved in within the blockchain for crypto gaming? And then Heroes Chain concept came along then, and you formulated that.
Well, to be honest, Erhan, our CEO, started the whole thing, to be honest, and I
Hmm.
must give him all the credit for it.
Right.
With his enthusiasm and excitement, I just could see the potential, the way he explained everything to me. And then I also, on day one, it's amazing. I mean, Erhan and I connected straight away about what we could do and what we should do. And it was clear that we both wanted to make great games. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So we were in it for creating games rather than making money, because
Sure.
I'm a true believer in creating great stuff, and the economy comes with it anyway. Success brings in the money. It's not the other way around.
Hmm.
And it was wonderful to see Erhan was on the same level as me. And then we set out a lot of goals on the first day. And, we discussed, what sort of games we should do, like in the future and immediately. And also, we even discussed which mainnet to go with. It was
Hmm.
unbelievable. And so obviously, as you know, there are several big mainnets like Solana, Avalanche, Avax, whatever, and then Eran was giving me all this information, and he mentioned Avalanche and CEO being from Turkey,
Hmm.
and immediately I said, "Well, we are writing a story here. We are
Yes.
setting up this really beautiful company, blockchain-based, game studio based in Istanbul, in Turkey, and why not, choose AVAX maybe as our partner for
Hmm.
mainnet? And as you know, and uh, I'm not even sure if we have officially announced it yet, but I'm so excited to be announcing it here right in front of you and all the viewers, that last night we signed up a major partnership deal with Avalanche. It's
That's amazing.
unbelievable.
That's great.
It's
I mean,
unbelievable. Yeah.
it is unbelievable. And
And I cannot tell you how excited we all are, especially, considering that that's what we wanted to do from day one. So again, coming back to Heroes Chained, uh, we discussed what sort of games we should do. With Erhan, we did a lot of brainstorming and everything. And so we decided on Heroes Chained as being our first game. And then my son Nej, who has tremendous gaming experience himself, also joined the team. And he came up with a wonderful concept story and designed the entire game. And we then continued strengthening our team, because Erhan wanted this dream team, because the co-founders, if you look at every individual, they are such successful, bright people in their own fields, and very apt with blockchain technology. Uh, so obviously, doing blockchain-based games, we have to be strong on two levels. Blockchain on one hand, and of course, gaming on the other. I think that's what makes inventional games very special.
mhm,
We have brilliant teams on both sides, and so we will make a big impact, I believe, in blockchain gaming, because we are gamers first. So we came up with the idea of, game first. You know what I mean? So to
absolutely.
make the game first, then you need team first. So they all follow each other, and that's when uh, we also decided that the current motto for blockchain gaming is, as you know, play to earn.
Mm,
Which makes sense for blockchain gamer. But I thought, since I'm involved and I come from traditional gaming background, and I enjoy uh, attracting millions of gamers, not tens of thousands of or hundreds of thousands. And very early on, we decided that our game would be play and earn rather than play to earn. So we put emphasis on the fun aspect. So if gamers are enjoying playing the game, they will earn money anyway. They are already playing the game. So we don't have to stress too much the earn aspect. It's part of the, play and earn uh, concept. So that's how we developed the entire concept for Heroes Chained. So it's very much a play and earn concept driven game. And it will be, I believe, the very first example of its kind. And we are very proud of leading the blockchain gaming in that regard.
So, firstly, congratulations on the great announcement. I'm thrilled by myself, and also thrilled from my point of view. And also, I think, the global community we have on this AMA that we're doing live today as well. Really exciting news, and I think so many people are going to be happy about this announcement. Thank you for sharing that with us as well. When we talk about, obviously both of the initial founders getting together, yourself and your founder, deciding, okay, let's do this thing, and obviously your son's involved as well. How did you select some of the other members to make the rest of the team then? Was it people that you already knew? And also, can you tell me about sort of what sort of strengths they bring to the team then? And were they people you knew in the
Okay,
industry, or were they new people you went out and found?
yeah. Like I briefly touched upon, we needed two strong teams, one on the blockchain side, where Ersin and Erhan themselves are very, very knowledgeable about. Ersin, in particular, I have to say, his knowledge is amazing on the subject, and I'm sure with his lead, we will come up with some amazing future stuff that will probably make a huge impact in blockchain gaming as a whole.
Mhm.
And then obviously I left it to them to deal with the blockchain aspect. And we have an amazing team in that regard. We have like very knowledgeable and technical team of people. And then on the gaming side, since I'm effectively the founding father of the Turkish gaming sector, when we decide to send out feelers, to find good developers to work with us. It was amazing the response we got, obviously, and we found a very good lead developer initially in Tolga, and then I think it was one of our main uh, co-founders. Salih is also the vice president of the company, and
Mhm.
through a common friend, we reached Onur Çaylı, a very famous Hollywood artist.
Mhm.
Obviously, making a great game requires great visuals as well as great technical know-how and experience. So, uh, just like everything else, like anyone we touched, anyone we shared our vision and dream with, they just fell in love, with our uh, projects. And Honor, I'm happy to say, instantly said yes. So he came on board, and then it was so easy. Then when you have people like Honor, myself, then it's so easy to build teams around us. So that's what we've been doing, really, going from strength to strength. By
Yeah, I
the way,
mean,
still looking for, highly talented, experienced people to join us.
yeah, I mean, one of the things that really surprised me, hence my question as well, to dig down a bit deeper, was that when I went read your white paper and the light paper as well, some very solid information there
Oh,
about the game and the structure and the technical stuff behind it as well, and then the website as well. And I was fascinated, and hence my question to you as well about the team. How did you bring these people together? Because you don't you see a lot of businesses, entrepreneurial startups within the tech domain, maybe crypto, maybe other tech sectors as well, where you have a couple of guys that have a lot of strength and expertise leading the team, and then you have a bunch of folks who have got reasonable expertise as well, but not to the same level. But this is one of the projects that I was quite fascinated in the sense that when I started reading individual profiles, coming from the top of the, yourself and your co-founders, and then coming down, a couple of layers to the tech teams and the blockchain guys and the marketing guys and all the different specialists within the team as well. Everyone had some very fascinating, interesting pedigree backgrounds in the industries they've been in, and is sometimes you find it very hard to find such a cohort of people with such dimensions of skill in their own subject matter expertise to bring them together and then to work on a project, as a complete team. And I think you've done very well, in fact, to attract this talent and get this on board. And I think that in itself shows that Heroes Chain will move at quite a lot of momentum, and it's going to do some great things as well. You touched upon it earlier as well about Heroes Chain and what it's about, and the direction as well. But when you compare Heroes Chain to the rest of the games out there, what would you say your top, say, 3 or 4 key core traits are that gives Heroes Chain the edge, in this in the gaming? Like, if there was a couple, what would they be? Obviously you point to a few, but what would be the main ones, right? That you
Yeah.
would say this is the caveat, this is the sort of, like we say in England, the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for putting emphasis on our team. Truly, the co-founders and the team. Uh, again, it was Erhan's vision, when he said, I want to build a dream team. That's exactly what we did. And I'm glad you say that, when you check the team, it really shows itself. And all the co-founders, like I've said, in their own fields, they're like really successful, experienced people. Now, like I said, our main strength is not just, like the co-founders, but the team we are building for Heroes Chain and the future games we will be developing. We really want to be one of the leading companies, in the blockchain universe. And we know that we can do that. So, if you, when you read my book, you will see, or if you have played any of my games, especially the ones in the UK, you will see that I always try to add at least 2, 3 unique features to every game I was involved in. Not necessarily something entirely original, but some things that would make it Mevlut game. I enjoy putting your own stamp on something. It could be technical, it could be visual, gameplay, or a combination thereof. So from day one, that's exactly what we try to do with Heroes Chained as well. We noticed that there are lots of card games because they are very easy to, put together, and it's like the first game to start your blockchain journey, as it were. So we said, okay, we'll do one, but we want ours real time, action and RPG elements. You know what I mean? It was so easy to
Yep.
make the game bigger and make
Hmm.
sure that it attracts a wider audience. And because of that, from day one, again with Erhan, we discussed, and I said we should make sure game is available on mobile.
Yeah.
Like I said, mobile, commands half the gaming sector. That's amazing. So, so it's on PC and mobile, which means that we will appeal to a really wide audience. So we are designing the game in such a way that it also appeals to any age. That's also very important.
Hmm.
And also, we are making it, fun to play. Like I said, I really want to underline this: play and earn. That's our new concept, and we definitely aim to be leading in this concept. Uh, so there are many aspects. Obviously, the visuals, with Onur and the team, he's helping us build around them. will make a huge difference. I remember when I did Street Racer in 1994 with
Mm.
Ubisoft,
Yeah.
27 years ago.
Wow.
The first thing people said, oh, they compared it with Mario Kart.
Hmm.
Naturally, because it was the biggest, kart game around, and to me, it's the biggest kart game ever. And I wasn't scared. In fact, I welcomed the comparison because it gave me a challenge. So to
Hmm.
beat Mario Kart, I said to my team, I said, look, Mario Kart is two-player, let's make ours four. And that was unbelievable. So we achieved that. That's what I mean. So we will be doing many things with blockchain games as well, in
Hmm.
particular with our first game, Heroes Chained, so that people will be surprised that it is different and it stands out from the rest of the blockchain games.
Sure. No, that's great. Now, one of the questions I had in the back of my mind as well, I wanted to bring it up, to you, was that, you have people who are experts and masters in the blockchain. I speak to a lot of these guys in the gaming industry. But then from your point of view, like obviously you've been in it since, say the late 70s into the 80s and 90s and into the,
Yeah.
going forward now. But can we ask you the question from my side about like, what's the evolution? What changes have you seen in the gaming industry taking place? Obviously, you've seen it evolve, and where do you think now? Because when you've been in it and you built the car, you know what you can do with the engine and how more power you can get horsepower out of it, or what or
Mhm.
new tech you're going to put in this car, right? But from
Yeah.
your side, then you've seen the evolution of the gaming. Where do you think, where's it going? Where will you think this thing's going now with the new, the new gaming? Where's it going to head? I mean, what's the future of this thing? As you see it,
Okay. It's a great question. Thank you, Jazz. Well, to be honest, I cannot tell you how excited I am right now because when I started 38 years ago, I was very excited, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It
Hmm.
was a complete unknown to me. But now I know so much before and now, and I can sort of guess what is coming. And it just feels so wonderful that maybe with Inventuna and the wonderful people I'm working with can, you know, have a big say in what's coming, what's happening.
Hmm.
Obviously, blockchain gaming will be massive because, like I said, mobile and esports made a huge impact, but in the last 10 years. But blockchain is like, well, it's not even a year or so old. And we are already talking about games with market cap of billions and billions of dollars. It's unbelievable. It's a completely different scale. It's a completely different world. So it's very, very exciting. And in terms of future, obviously, metaverse, blockchain gaming, GameFi, all this combined, again, it's all related to gaming. And to me, gaming will be the biggest entertainment in the future as well. It's already surpassed Hollywood by a big margin. And, and as far as the future is concerned, I see more opportunity in AR rather than VR. I think
Hmm.
VR has a problem. When you put something over someone's head, it just doesn't work for me. And I think AR has a better, augmented reality has a better chance, and especially with metaverse and blockchain technology and GameFi combined, that's where I see the future.
And I mean, obviously, when you mentioned, in the 80s, the ZX, you had the BBC Micro as well, all these computers running BASIC or whatever they were running. And then, then it went to mobile, isn't it? And then it went into
Yeah,
mobile gaming, and then people are like carrying their mobile phones, and all games are played on the mobile phone. And now we've moved to the blockchain. So what you're saying is now you're going to see a lot of evolution around the AI model, right? The artificial intelligence and everything around that with the blockchain, which
or
uh,
good.
which is a
Yeah.
new direction, isn't it? Within
Mhm.
the gaming
AI,
sector.
AR,
Yeah.
yeah. they will all, come together and sort of help this big metaverse thing. I reckon that's gonna be huge.
So when it comes to the sort of the AI, the AR, and the metaverse as well, and you even got the likes of Facebook right now becoming the metaverse, right? So do you, so even Mark Zuckerberg is following your direction, right? So are we are we like we're in the beginning phases of this now? Are we of this new cycle of the wave of new innovation and creative space in this gaming of the AI, the AR, and the metaverse? Is this the beginning cusp, and you're on the beginning wave of this now, right?
No, I believe it's definitely the next big thing. That's
Mm,
for sure. As to Facebook changing its name to Meta, it's to me it's laughable, to be honest. The
mm,
whole uh, philosophy behind blockchain, as you know, is that it doesn't believe in centralized control and one company trying to own everything. So I guess it's natural that obviously Facebook wants to take advantage or be in this big thing that's
yep.
happening, as
Hmm.
it tried with VR, and to me, it failed, to be honest.
Hmm.
But I agree that it is the next big thing, definitely, and also traditional publishers and developers will be making a massive switch to blockchain gaming as well, GameFi. So that's going to help catapult blockchain gaming even more.
And and obviously, the blockchain is the critical factor here, and that's basically driving a lot of this gaming innovation around the crypto space and within the domains of gaming. But obviously, with Heroes Chain, I think you're maximizing, aren't you? You're using all the potential of what the blockchain can leverage, right? I
Absolutely,
presume.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the concept of, gamers, earning money while enjoying playing the game that they enjoy playing anyway is just amazing. And also, like I said, they own the majority stake in the game. The governance aspect is amazing. They will tell us what they want next. Even
Mm,
though I exercised this in my games in the past, when I did an MMORPG game, I used to ask the gaming community which of the features we should do next, that kind of stuff. So now the gamers will have a proper say, in what they want. And I think that's brilliant.
And do you think that when you compare the traditional games, right, that you've built, and even the sort of in the last, say, 10 years or whatever, compared to the blockchain gaming now that we have,
Mhm.
do you think that there is still that space where both of these can coexist? Like, you still have that area of traditional gaming, and you still have the new wave of the blockchain gaming? Or do you think what's going to happen is the traditional gaming is really starting to disappear now, and the momentum is going at such a rapid pace that the new paradigm is that we are mostly focused on artificial intelligence, AR, and blockchain is basic, and the metaverse and all that is going to take over the gaming? Or is there still is still will two of these camps still go, or is it just going to be everyone shift to the new camp now?
Yeah, I think like gaming sector is so big now. It's like we still have the PCs, we still have even retro uh, as a big thing. As you may know, there
Mhm.
are millions of people out there still playing our old games. It's absolutely amazing that they keep our memories and work alive after so many decades. So a lot of different aspects of traditional gaming may stay intact, but obviously it really very much depends on the success of blockchain gaming and obviously how it develops itself, how much it really does uh, deliver the promise it's making. You know what I mean? That's the crucial thing. And obviously, there are other uh, factors that may come into play. We don't know. Obviously, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all that is a big thing for the entire world. The governments and different countries are taking different stances, as you know. So there are a lot of things that we don't know yet. But what we know is that blockchain gaming is moving forward in an amazing speed and also amazing value.
Hmm.
It's unbelievable. The scale is just completely different. When you consider to create a $1 billion traditional gaming company could take anything up to 6, 7, 8 years. Here we are talking about one game being worth several billions of dollars. It's unbelievable.
Hmm.
So it is very attractive for the traditional publishers to switch. But I don't know how quickly they can switch because blockchain technology is completely different. In the same way, when the Hollywood studios tried to come into our industry, and they all failed. Only Disney succeeded to a certain level because of their brilliant content, not technical ability necessarily. So, it may take a little bit of time for the traditional publisher to make the transition. I think what makes companies like Invention Games strong is that we knew this from day one, and we built our company around strong blockchain technology team and also game development team.
Okay, that's wonderful. And when you started the project of Heroes Chained and started to put the critical components of it together and start working on launching this project and everything like that, you must have done
Mhm.
a sort of a survey or analysis of the market segment or sector that you're operating in. Was it, did you look at some of these other games that they're in the within the domains of the blockchain and decide, hey, you know what, these guys are missing certain gaps, right? And you looked at your previous methodologies that you used to
Mhm.
scope these games out. So
Yeah.
you pointed to a couple of factors like what makes Heroes Chain um, in a way better and adds more value to the players, and they really can get into the stickiness of the game.
Mhm.
But then, when you look at Heroes Chain compared to other games in the industry right now within the domain of blockchain, right? I mean, what would you say? Is it really the engine itself that the way that this game's been put together and the structure of it and the mechanics of the play that are put into place that differentiate it compared to others? Eh, you know, is there any competition out there, or is it Heroes Chained is quite unique from what I see from the way it's been designed and also everything around it, really? I mean, is there
That's
any
a
key things that come into your mind, say, well, this is why we're going to lead the way for quite some time?
well, that's a brilliant question. Thank you, Jazz. Again, Erhan, because he's such a brilliant gamer, he shared with me all the current crop of successful blockchain based games, and I could clearly see that there was something missing, which was the lack of gameplay. Really, you know what I mean?
Mm,
So blockchain games in general have a lot of catching up to do in that regard. So we addressed that from day one because that's all I know. I only know making good games. You know what I mean? So the
mhm.
blockchain is icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Whereas the other companies, from what I could see, quickly assemble a team, then come up with a concept, write a white paper, and go to market. But we did the exact opposite. We did blockchain, white paper, everything, as you said. And
Mm,
Ersin did a fantastic job with the team, writing all the technical stuff, whatever. But at the same time, we concentrated on coming up with a really good concept for a game that would attract millions of gamers, traditional gamers as well. We want to bring traditional gamer into blockchain. I think
mhm,
that's when blockchain gaming will really grow into like something really, really massive, not just economically, but in terms of number of gamers. So for it to be mass market, you need to attract billions of traditional gamers. There are over 3 billion gamers in the world, in the gaming industry. So a tiny percentage of that is blockchain gaming. So we want to change that. That's why we went for the concept of play and earn rather than play to earn. Because we noticed from very early on that all the other blockchain games were based or designed for play to earn, nothing more. So I think Heroes Chained really stands out of the crowd in that regard. So it's a great game to play to begin with. I can give you another example. It's like game-based learning. This was something very important in the past. And also companies try to create educational content. They use Flash, they use PDFs, they tried everything without realizing that to attract kids' attention, you have to create a great game first. So if the game isn't good enough, doesn't matter what you put in it, it's not going to work. And I did a game called Superjam in Turkey. And it's a great example for game-based learning. We created a brilliant game, and we built education into it. It's like environment, recycling, all that. And it was brilliant. And we reached nearly 5 million players in a matter of a couple of months. So with all that experience and vision and knowledge, we put all that into Heroes Chained. And we want to make sure that our game is enjoyed by millions of gamers. And obviously using all the benefits of this wonderful blockchain technology.
Yeah, I really like that, that you're gamers yourselves that have been involved in this world of gaming for a very long time, from a traditional point of view of gaming, and then even those people, like you mentioned, who've been, using the traditional games, playing the traditional games, you bringing them across to have the same enjoyment, but with the blockchain around it.
Absolutely.
And for them to really get immersed in the game. And it looks like you sort of designed the game for the gamers, right? And that's really,
Absolutely.
and then
Absolutely.
you designed the game for the gamers, and actually that was the main thing, that you wanted a game that people could really enjoy, really be involved in. And it didn't really matter if they were really advanced techie guys or they were just normal people that like playing games, but now the
Absolutely.
opportunity to come in and play the game. And then around that concept, then it looks like then you forged out all the technology around it, that we're going to create first is a custom experience, isn't it, for the gamer, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To enjoy the game and make it simple, and it works very efficiently, and they can go into that ecosystem and really be a part of the game. And then around it you started building out the technology, where a lot of the times you see the technology, people build the technology and then they decide, okay, well, what game should we build now, right? But it shows
Absolutely.
that you guys
Absolutely.
put
Yeah.
a lot of effort and energy and strength and vigor into creating this game. That's really great. And I think these are the type of things that for this live AMA today that come across, to really get into the nitty gritty about, you being the producer and also one of the co-founders of the game as well, to discuss that. It gives the opportunity for myself and the community at large here, the Heroes Chained community as well, to meet up with you and understand what this game's about, and who you are and who the person behind the one of the guys behind the driving seat is as well. Is there any, before we open it up to any questions that the community might have, is there anything else you want to, obviously I've asked you some pointed questions and thank you very much for answering them very
Pleasure.
thoroughly as well. Is there anything else you want to say about, Heroes Chained, or anything else, from your side that we haven't touched on that you want to bring to the front and just talk about?
Well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity and for the wonderful set of questions. I really enjoyed it, and I hope we can do these AMAs in the future as well. When
Absolutely. I mean, I
as we
look forward to
progress,
your return.
we are very excited. Obviously, we are looking forward to getting on with developing the game, and obviously looking after the business side of things, and we have an amazing team of people looking after the business as well, which is also very important. But basically, I'm really excited to be welcoming millions of gamers into our new world and introduce blockchain gaming to the masses. And
Hmm.
I think it's very, very exciting for the entire team. I wish you could see the smiling faces of our team.
Yep.
We are all excited that we may be impacting, making a big difference in blockchain gaming. And I am more excited than I was 38 years ago,
Mm.
because I know exactly what we set out to do with Erhan
Yep.
several months ago. And it feels like it was only a few weeks ago. Everything's moving so fast and so brilliantly. We are achieving every goal, you know, uh, as we set out, on day one. And I'm happy to say that Inventional Games is a blockchain-based games company that will produce many games in the future, and hopefully next year, not uh, too long, we will start embark on a massive project, and we'd be very, very happy to share the news when it's available.
That's wonderful. And Mev, this is our first live AMA with you, right, with the Heroes Chained, and I'm looking forward for you to returning as well and keeping us up to date on future AMAs where we talk
Absolutely.
about where you are with the journey and what's new, what new things are happening with the Heroes Chained and in your gaming world as well. And yeah, just one thing before we open it up to the for the community questions is your book. Can you just tell us a couple of things about your book? I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
actually go and buy one, but you're gonna obviously gonna sign it for me, which is great.
Well, with pleasure, I will double sign it for you. But
Thank you.
first of all, again, I thank you for joining our magical journey and being a part of it from very early on. Well, I wrote my book about 3 years ago when I lived in Barcelona. That's where I
Hmm.
started. Then I moved back to my old home, London, as it were. Stayed there for a couple of years and continued writing the book. And then I decided to return to Turkey again, second time, and finish the book here. I released the Turkish version. All the proceeds go to a charity, very important charity. So that's why I encourage people to buy my book so that they can help a lot of orphans with their education.
That's a great cause.
And during the lockdown, I tried to make use of my time. I did presentation talks with universities and thousands of young people, who want to get into gaming. So I shared my knowledge and experience. Um, and also, I decided to write the English version from scratch, which I
Hmm.
released this year, and it's available on Amazon and both as printed and also digital versions. And I have been getting amazing reactions from all the readers around the world, and it's so satisfying. I'm glad I wrote it. In fact, just remembered an English friend who recently finished my book did a
Hmm.
wonderful review. It really made me cry. It was such an heartfelt review, and he finished it by saying something like, I didn't want this book to finish. That's how good it is." But obviously, I had to finish it. I did finish it, but the ending, it didn't look like an ending, as if there was more to come. So
Yes.
I'd like to thank Erhan and the rest of the people at Inventional Games to start me on my follow up to my existing book, really, we've just effectively started the next chapter.
Oh, nice.
It's like literally we are writing another story together, and I hope to, together with Erhan and Co, write the next book. That's how
That's
excited we are.
that's really good, and I'm really happy about the charity effect of it as well. Doing so many things for the young people, the orphanages as well. That these things are quite dear to my heart as well, and I think
Thank you.
that's a really great thing to do. And for those of us who basically want to go and get the book, so we can go to Amazon, and you have I presume you have the
All,
paperback and the Kindle version there as well.
yes, all the links are in fact at mevdinc.com
Okay.
on my
So if we go to
website.
mevdinc.com, we can
Yeah,
basically find the titles of the book there. And
yeah,
just to
all
give
the
yeah.
yeah,
So the actual title for the book, can you just
uh,
give us that for the
yeah.
community?
In Turkish is Hayat Bir Oyun, and in English is Life is a Game. And
Okay.
truly, life is a game, and you will agree with me once you read it.
Absolutely, it's on my reading list and quite high up there, and I'm definitely going to buy that, and I will be reading that. So thank you, Mev, very much for that. And so yeah, I open this up live AMA to any questions that anyone has that they want to put forward to the legend himself. And okay, so one question I would like to ask whether there will be a metaverse concept where we can move our assets, heroes, and outfit, etc., to other metaverse games or platforms. So,
Well, obviously, we haven't planned that for our first game, but we will definitely be considering it first between our games. It really makes sense now.
mhm,
It's something that we couldn't do before. Uh, uh, but with future games, anything possible, we will consider everything that will attract more gamers, and we will listen to our gamers and check their aspirations and demands, and you know do whatever is necessary to keep them happy.
okay, so it's something on the roadmap then. So,
Yeah,
you have it on the roadmap and it's something that, you work towards it, right?
but
Right on the
obviously,
right time.
in our game there will be lots of NFTs and other things that can be traded, obviously, on on the crypto exchanges and everything else.
Hmm.
But I think the main thing is having sort of common characters usable in more than one game.
That's it,
So
yeah,
yeah,
move our
so
assets or
some
heroes or outfit to
yeah,
other
yeah,
metaverse
but
games or
obviously, yeah,
platforms. Yeah.
for that to work, obviously games still have to be designed that in mind, and it is something I find very attractive, and we will definitely do that in the future.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Another question has come up. I'll just read it out to you. Yeah. So they're all coming to you, not many coming to me, obviously, but I'm not the master here. You know what I mean? So lucky they're not coming to me. So anyway, uh, which features which features make you, Mev, so excited about the gameplay? So what features make you excited about the gameplay? And 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 as he said, always unique features to the game. Please make us excited as a player. So yeah, so what features excite you about the gameplay, and what features do you think will excite the player
Yeah, I
most?
think yeah, I think we have like several major components in heroes chains. First of all, we have heroes, but we have guilds, which I haven't seen any of the other blockchain-based games yet. So we have guilds. So that's one major aspect. Then we have gathering of heroes and upgrading them and all that. So that's is an important aspect. Then you have obviously our RPG elements. You have exploration, outside world. We have an amazing story. We have this city, Last Hope. It's like built by all the nations of the world,
Hmm.
which is something similar to United Nations, but this time truly it's united, not like the current situation.
Yeah.
Uh, so uh, there's a lot of exploration. It's like an MMORPG, mini MMORPG, really. We have quests, daily, weekly, whatever, random. Uh, so many features that all the successful traditional games offer.
Okay. Thank you, Mev. So great question. Another question. I think they like firing the questions over to you. They're giving them
Well,
some good
you're
answers.
welcome to answer some of them on my behalf.
So yes. So do you have a doubt if Heroes Chain game would turn to play to earn while you want to be a play and earn?
Well, no way it can turn into play to earn because on day one we decided that we wanted our game to be play and earn. So
Yep.
we are effectively designing a game that can work without blockchain. You know what I mean? Uh, I've done a big MMORPG game in the past, and we had game money, virtual money, we had items, everything. So we are literally building a, proper playable game and using the blockchain technology as a basis, as a platform,
Hmm.
to the
So really,
benefit of the gamer.
yeah.
It's
So
brilliant. It's a
basically,
brilliant combination.
so the play and earn model was set up from day one, really. So it was straight off the
Absolutely.
bat that this was the concept. This is what the model we're going to take into the
Yes.
marketplace. Yeah.
And then we would like to be the leading force in this regard.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that really excites all of us.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So I think this is another one that picks on some of your we were having that discussion about the evolution of the gaming industry and where it's going, from the traditional to the blockchain. And this
Mhm.
question is quite interesting. But do you think that there will be the continuity of the games on blockchain technology? Do you think this direction's gonna the blockchain technology is that gonna be a permanent thing now? Is this gonna continue as a permanent thing within the blockchain? Now and going forward, right?
Uh, well, obviously, as long as the blockchain technology, uh, continues to grow and take its place, in our lives, and uh, in its entirety, it remains strong. Of course, it just makes sense. It's just perfect for gaming world. That's why it's making the biggest, progress in that
Mm,
area, and we can
mm.
clearly see that.
Yeah. So it's like, we have the internet and we have the backbone of the internet there, right? So really what we're saying here that is that the blockchain is really the backbone of the gaming, and that is the ecosystem that these games are going to take. And that's where most of these games are going. It's not going to be that they're going to go and then they're going to go somewhere else. This is the major driving technology now that's going to shape the way, and
Yeah,
it's shaping the way going now and even in the next 10, 15, 20 years or
well,
whatever, right?
definitely for the foreseeable future, that's for sure.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for your insights there. So, any other questions from the community? Any last questions? You have Mev himself here now, and oh, okay. So, will newcomers have any cons over old players? How do you how do you planning to motivate new people to play the game after months from launch of the game? So, firstly, will any will any newcomers have any concerns over old players, right, in the game, and how do you plan to motivate people once they start playing the game at launch? How will you keep
Mhm.
motivating them to continue to play,
Well,
several
obviously,
months
like, I mean, I stress that point again. It's like any decent big games like MMORPG games. As you know, they remain active for years. Even my Istanbul game, despite my leaving and not getting enough support, it's been active for 15 years. It's unbelievable. So we are building a community around the game, and we are building the game for the community so that they can play the game for a long time. We will be continually adding new expansion packs, new levels, new worlds, new features to keep the game active and grow all the time. So we have to obviously keep existing gamers happy as well as attracting new gamers. In terms of new gamers, obviously we will have a leveling system. So new gamers, when they first start the game, they're not going to start, sort of fighting or challenging, higher level gamers. It's just like any other traditional successful game. It's all, built into the game.
Yep.
So both the new and the old gamers will successfully coexist. No problems at
Wonderful.
all. And
Wonderful.
as I've said, we are looking for like at least 4 or 5 years for our game to sort of remain active and interesting.
Okay. Plenty of scope there for people
Absolutely.
to on that gaming journey within Heroes Chain. That's
Oh, yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, we will introduce new heroes, new areas, new features, as I said.
Okay, wonderful. Any other questions out there from the community? So interesting questions, a bit more of a entrepreneurial question, which will be pretty simple for you. But anyway, what they're saying is what so what is the biggest concern or obstacle you feel you will face creating this project as you want it to flourish over others? So, is there what is the biggest concerns or obstacles you feel that will be faced, that you may face or the team may face creating this project? Because you want it to flourish and become successful over the others. So is there any major obstacles you see or concerns,
Well, to be honest, we are very, very confident, both with our team and with our planning, with what we want to achieve and what we want to present to the gamer. And obviously now with Avalanche behind us and beside us, I'm confident that, we will make a big impact. I don't see any obstacles or concerns at the moment, and I hope we won't experience any problems in the future.
Okay, no, thank you for that. So I'll just wait a few more seconds. Sometimes someone's composing a question, but I think Mev, this is I think we've covered most of the questions some of the questions the community had. I think most of them, in fact, to be honest with you, you've addressed in our conversation over the last hour. We've touched on so many different topics about your background, about the team that you put together, and everything like that. One other question while I was trying to sum up: will there be a pre-sale of your token? If so, are you planning to do it on your announcement of Avalanche?
Well, obviously,
Or
yes.
will there be a pre-sale of
Yes,
your token?
yes. Yes to
I think
both.
you've given you've given
Yeah,
that
in
big
fact,
announcement, right?
yes, we have planned two-stage pre-sale in the next few weeks, and then we will do public ICO
Okay,
in
that's
January
wonderful.
sometime. Yeah.
Okay, and of course, the community
Yeah, I
across
suggest.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Jazz. Just to add that I very strongly recommend all our gamers, all the players who are interested in our project, to follow our official channels. so that they don't miss out on anything.
Yes. Okay. No, wonderful. And I think we've got a very good social media background about the heroes chain. Like I mentioned earlier as well to the community as well. Go and read the light paper, the white paper. I read both. They're quite in depth. Light paper is obviously called light paper because it's much more lighter to the touch, right?
Yes,
But you can read through
absolutely.
it, but it still has the key essence in there. Go and visit the website heroeschain.com. You've got all our Twitter, social media, Discord. Join the community. This Heroes Chain has got a very nice community. Everyone support each other, and we want Heroes Chain to be a success because it's an amazing game. One question has come up, and I think
Mhm.
you've addressed this before anyway. Someone is asking, one of the community members is asking, could you share the background of your game dev team? It says that no info about the game developers. They haven't found any information about the game developers. Can we trust the dev team to accomplish a big game project like that? Well, all I can say is before you shoot in, and it's something I can just make a quick comment on as well, is that from reading, like I was mentioning, read the white paper, read the light paper, visit the website, check the history about the team, and that's why we spent some time about the team and who the folks are in the team and my questions about how this team came together. Got some very solid guys here. I mean, I could go on for a couple of hours about people's background, but over to you, Mev, about about the dev team, right?
Yeah, but obviously, like I keep trying to stress the point that we have both a very strong blockchain technology team and also a very strong game development team. Obviously, with me as an executive producer and continually adding, talented, experienced people to our team, I have no doubt that we will achieve and deliver the game that we want to produce. There's
Hmm.
no question about that.
Hmm. Okay, so you've got obviously a very good dev team in place and a very solid guys with some very solid industry experience in the in the
Absolutely.
in the crypto space, right, in the blockchain arena. Okay, is the game for only PC or can we play it on a mobile too?
I think I mentioned this, but I'll repeat it uh, gladly. Uh, Again, to appeal to a wider audience, from day one, we decided that our game would be available uh, on both PC and mobile.
Okay, fine, that's great. So let's have another couple of questions, and then I think we'll wind it down. I think and Mev's been a great person to have on the AMA, as the founder and also the executive producer. So any other questions, one or two questions, and then we can wrap it all up. Okay, Mev, I think one
Oops.
last question. Let's take this
Every,
one. When I say about one last question, someone types away, right? And it's
exactly.
traveling through the metaverse to get to us, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And the metaverse has sent it now. So, okay, what kind of surprises await us in us? So, what kind of surprises await us in the game? And we all want to see more after the trailer. Can you talk about some details? So, what kind of surprises await us in the game? And
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Well, obviously, we are working very hard on the game right now. You know, both on the visual aspect and also on the programming aspect. And uh, I personally don't like releasing too much material in advance until unless we are 100% happy with what we are sharing, because I want to share what we're going to use in the game. You know what I mean.
yeah.
So we are already sharing details of the visuals, the quality, and all that. And hopefully, in the coming weeks, we will start sharing snippets of battle mode, some of the heroes, that kind of stuff. but all in good time,
Okay,
So we have
great.
loads of surprises.
Okay, let's have two more questions, and then that's it. We're gonna wrap it up then. I think people are very excited about while you're on here, one of the key members of the team. People want to get the secrets, right, of what's coming up
But
ahead, right?
yeah, obviously they want everything. Yeah,
They're very
uh,
excited about this
yeah.
project,
Well,
and
I actually, while we are waiting, if there is another question, I say this in my book as well. I
yeah,
think gamers are amazing consumers. Obviously they are consumers. They consume games,
mm,
but they are the most impatient. Like when they get their hands on a new game, they cannot wait to get in and finish it. You know
mm,
what I mean? It's
yeah,
unbelievable. So I'm not surprised that people
and
now
and
want
also and
all the
also I think
details.
and I think also what's been shared about the game so far, all the visuals and everything like that, they're very intriguing as well. It's the type of thing you want to, what is the next part,
Yeah,
and
of
you
course,
avidly
of
look
course.
for that next,
Yeah.
the next segment of that,
Mhm.
but that's fine. I
Yeah,
think
we
no,
want to
we
share as well, but
absolutely,
like I said, we are taking our
absolutely.
time to make sure that we are sharing what people will see in the actual game.
Yes, definitely. Well, Mev, I think we will now think that's done on the questions as well from the community. So, firstly, like I said, thank you for firstly taking the time out, off your schedule to come and share your thoughts about, Heroes Chained, and we've learned a lot from this AMA. And also, I'm uh, looking forward to the next time we meet on the live AMA to share the rest of the journey and where you're getting. So, I hope to soon you'll return for another live AMA with me um, on here, so we can go further into what's happening and keep the community up to speed as well. And like I said, I wish you and the team all the best, and really looking forward to the next weeks and months, right, in this project. And I wish you all the success with it. I mean, it's an amazing project. I've read a lot about it, and like I said, to the community as well, go to the heroeschained.com website, go and read read the feeds on all the social media that we have for Heroes Chained as well. Engage with the community, read the white paper, follow the Twitter, the Discord channels, join everything. And the whole Heroes Chain team, very active on social media as well. They share everything about what's happening, where they are with the project and the game and so forth as well. And we have a very nice community here as well. So Mev,
Absolutely.
thank you very much for
Well,
joining today's live AMA. Thank you very much.
thank you so much, Jazz, for having me. And you've
Thank
been
you.
a wonderful host. And it's been a real pleasure to be talking to you about our project, Heroes Chained, and our future plans as well. And of course, sharing our uh, excitement, with the viewers and our hopefully potential gamers. I urge everyone to join our official channels, not to miss out on both the news and also lots of rewards uh, coming your way. And I believe we are giving away some tokens during this MA or after.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important that our gamers follow us closely so they don't miss out on anything. We have pre-sale followed by public ICO. Yeah,
Thank you, Mev. Thank you. So that's a
yeah.
wrap, and look forward to you returning soon again. And I'm sure, like I mentioned myself and the rest of the whole community, look forward for further AMAs with Heroes Chained and the rest of the team as well. Thank you, Mev. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much again, Jazz. It's been a pleasure. Bye bye.